Hello everyone, welcome to DIY Maths Arts. Today topic is 55 spices names in Hindi and English. So let's start. This is basil seeds and in Hindi it is known as tulsi ke beej. This is bay leaf and in Hindi it is known as tej patta. This is black cardamom and in Hindi it is known as badi ilaichi. This is black sesame seeds and in Hindi it is known as kali til ke beej. This is cumin seeds and in Hindi it is known as jeera. This is black cumin and in Hindi it is known as kala jeera. This is green cardamom and in Hindi it is known as choti ilaichi. This is carom seeds and in Hindi it is known as ajwain. This is oregano and in Hindi it is known as ajwain ke patte. This is cinnamon sticks and in Hindi it is known as dalchini. This is math and in Hindi it is known as javitri. This is clove and in Hindi it is known as long. It is coriander powder and in Hindi it is known as dhania powder. This is dry coconut and in Hindi it is known as sukha nariyal. This is dry coconut powder and in Hindi it is known as nariyal ka burada. This is fenugreek seeds and in Hindi it is known as methi ke beej. This is dry fenugreek leaves and in Hindi it is known as kasuri methi. This is dry ginger and in Hindi it is known as sot. This is dry mango powder and in Hindi it is known as amchur powder. It is pomegranate seed powder and in Hindi it is known as anar ka beej ka powder. This is fennel seeds and in Hindi it is known as soap. This is flax seeds and in Hindi it is known as alsi ka beej. This is dry gooseberry and in Hindi it is known as sukha avla. This is garlic and in Hindi it is known as lashun. This is mustard seeds and in Hindi it is known as sarso. This is nikila seeds and in Hindi it is known as kalonji. This is red chilies and in Hindi it is known as lal mirch. This is isht and in Hindi it is known as khameer. This is poppy seeds and in Hindi it is known as khaskhas. This is salt and in Hindi it is known as namak. It is black salt and in Hindi it is kala namak. It is black rock salt and in Hindi it is known as sindha namak. This is black pepper and in Hindi it is known as kali mirch. This is red chili flakes and in Hindi it is known as lal mirch flakes. This is long pepper and in Hindi it is known as pipli. This is tea leaf. In Hindi it is known as chai patti. This is baking soda, and Hindi also it is known as baking soda. This is red chili powder, and in Hindi it is known as lal mirch powder. This is ginger powder, and in Hindi it is known as adrak powder. This is arrowroot powder, and in Hindi also it is known as arrowroot powder. This is white sesame seeds. In Hindi it is known as safed til. It is known as turmeric powder. In Hindi it is known as haldi powder. This is white sesame seeds. In Hindi it is known as safed til. This is saffron. In Hindi it is known as kesar. This is asafoetida, and in Hindi it is known as hing. This is licorice, and in Hindi it is known as mulethi. This is dry mint, and in Hindi it is known as sukha pudina. It is garam masala, and in Hindi also it is known as garam masala. This is lemon salt, and in Hindi it is also known as lemon salt. This is alum, and in Hindi it is known as fitkari. It is known as dry marubellin, and in Hindi it is known as harana. So thank you for watching my video. If my video is useful and helpful, then please like, subscribe me, click on the bell icon to get my all new videos, and share with your friend. And if you have not seen my other video, then link is in description box. Bye bye.